Hello, hello everyone. I think I'm live. If someone could tell me that I'm live and that you can hear me, that would be amazing. Yes, we have someone who's here, so that's fabulous. Anyone that's arrived, can you tell me if you can hear me? Hey, you can hear me. Hi, Annie, how are you? I always get so nervous when I start these things because I always worry I'm going to press the wrong button. I haven't so far, so I think we're all good. If everyone can hear me, yeah, brilliant, fantastic. So glad to see so many of you here already. For anyone that doesn't know me, my name's Hannah and I'm the designer and blogger behind Hand Jam Crochet. And the lovely people at Annie's, I started working with them earlier in this year and I have some of my patterns on their site, and they asked me to do a live tutorial a couple of months ago. And hello Fran from Minnesota. And loads of people turned up, and loads of people, you were so wonderful and so lovely to me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I was really nervous, as I am today, but I must have done okay because they've asked me back again today to talk about another one of my patterns. Brilliant, Sandy can hear me. Hi Sandy. Hello Barbara. Hi Harriet. Oh, I get so excited to meet new people. Thank you for coming. So I thought we could talk about my hot squares blanket because I don't know about where you live, but here in the UK at the moment it's so hot. We've had such lovely weather over the last few weeks, and I know it's going to disappear soon, but so we're going to go with a hot squares blanket to go with the heat. So I'm going to show you it now. And I don't know about you, but do you like working motifs? Do you like crochet motifs? I have a love-hate relationship with them. I love making them. I hate sewing in the ends. I hate seaming them together. But hey ho, you've got to do it, hey? So the blanket has got 81 squares, and the reason I'm like yanking it up is because it's really heavy. It's made out of cotton Aran, and I don't know about you, but I really like using cotton for like heavy blankets. So this sits over the back of a sofa at our house, and it's great because it's heavy, it drapes down. It gets used in the playroom by the kids. They can muck around with it. Hello to everyone. Oh, I'm so glad that you're here and you enjoy my tutorials. Thank you. So yeah, so cotton Aran is my go-to yarn for making big like homeware blankets, because if you make them out of like delicate yarn or whatever, I'd always be really scared about the dog catching them, the children catching them. But with cotton you really don't need to worry, and you can just chuck it in the wash, and as long as you've sewed your ends in okay, you'll be absolutely fine. So I have gone with colour theme. This is a great stash buster project. It goes from hot yellows and oranges and reds through to the pinks and the corals, and then all the way through to the end of the hot pinks and to the purples. But you don't have to use that many colours. You can use whatever you've got in your stash, or you can treat yourself to something new. Draw yourself a little chart. I love drawing charts to work out where my colours are going. Do you do that? I do that. I'm a bit sad. So anyway, so I thought I would just show you how to make one of the motifs for it if you'd like to. So now the scary part is that I need to flip the phone without dropping you so you can see what my hands are doing. So bear with me for one moment while I work out where the button is that I press. There it is. Hooray! We have turned over. Fabulous. Let me scoot in. So I'd already made these with the different colours, and I think like you can see how different it looks in different colours. This is again in the cotton Aran, and then this one is in this is in a chunky acrylic, and it's really nice actually. And I quite fancy making another one like this, because you might notice that in the main pattern we have this small square that we then miter the corner for, and we have 3 rows of each colour going around. But I thought, hi Beth from Ohio, I thought I could do just 1 row for each to show you how it does. And you can do as many of these as you like around it, and it will always stay square. So you really can make this your very own. Fran is asking, did I make my top? Yes, I did make my top. Thank you. It's called a hawthorn tee, and you can find the pattern on my blog if you'd like it. Then I also made one in lighter weight yarn, in double knit yarn rather. And I think this would make a really sweet baby blanket. You could make them into squares. You could lay them however you want really. So just as an example there, you could sort of sit them together and make them into square motifs, or they could be facing outwards. You can do whatever you like with them. And because you're going to make them all square, you'll have the same amount of stitches along each side, so you can rotate them whichever way you want. And I know that seems like an obvious thing to say, but lots of people get really scared about joining motifs, I think, but you really don't need to be. You really don't need to be. So let's get going, shall we? So I have got this chunky yarn because I thought that might be easier for you to see. Oh, and one thing that people said last time, they couldn't see because the comments were in front of my hands. I've got comments like here. If you don't want those comments, you swipe. I can't remember which way you swipe, but swipe one way or the other way, and that moves the comments. And then you swipe the opposite way and it'll get them back for you. So we're going to begin by popping a slip knot on your hook, and then you're going to chain 10. And 10. And then your first row, this little section here is really simple, and it's a nice textured stitch. Now normally when I'm working into a foundation chain like this, I would work into the back bumps, but this edge is not going to now be a raw edge when we go around with the border. So I'm just going to work normally because it's easier, isn't it? So we're going to do a single crochet in the second chain from the hook. Hi Shelley from Alabama. And then you're going to do a double crochet in that very same chain there. And then you're going to skip the next stitch, and then you're going to do a single crochet and a double crochet in that next one. Then you're going to do that same thing again, skip the next one and do a single crochet and a double crochet in the next one. And you just repeat that until you've just got 2 chains left. And then skip one, and in the very last one you're going to work a single crochet, just a single in that one, otherwise your numbers will go all funny. So you should now have 9 stitches across there. And now you're going to turn, and you're going to chain 1, and that's not going to count as a stitch, just gives you room to move. And then you've got a single crochet and a double crochet. By the way, if I slip into UK terms, just prod me, because it's honestly like patting my head and rubbing my tummy to do this. So you skip one, and then you single crochet and you double crochet into the next one. Skip the next one, single crochet, and then double crochet. Oh, Annie's brilliant. Annie's have put a link to my top in the comments if anybody would like it. Skip the next one, and then a single crochet and a double crochet. So you see it's really easy. And then you're going to skip the next one and then finish with a single crochet in the last stitch here. And that's all you need to know, because you are going to repeat that row we just did. So single crochet, double crochet in the first, skip one, single crochet, double crochet, skip one, and carry on, and then a single crochet in the last one. So yes, the Suzette stitch. Hooray, Harriet knows what it is. Brilliant. I love the Suzette stitch, but not many people know it as that, I don't think, but this is the Suzette stitch. So you really don't need to see me work 9 rows of that. So in the words of Blue Peter that we have over here in the UK, I don't know if anyone anywhere else knows of it, here's one I prepared earlier. So I now have 9 rows and 9 stitches of the Suzette stitch. And now what we want to do is go around that in this same colour. We want to create a single crochet border all the way around it. So I have not turned my work. This is facing me, although it doesn't really matter how, if you do turn your work, but let's not turn our work now. And we're going to chain 1, which I've already done to give us some space. And then we're going to work a single crochet in the side of each row going down this way. So you've got 9 rows and you're going to have 9 stitches. So different people work along, this is quite easy in chunky yarn, but it's quite difficult in fine yarn to find them. So I just work where feels logical to me. Sometimes it's through the middle of the stitch, excuse me, and sometimes it's through the side chain, the turning chain. So you can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and now 9 in that last one there. And now we're going to chain 1 to give ourselves room to move around that corner. And then you're going to work 1 single crochet in each of these stitches along here, which is now your foundation chain. So that should be fairly simple to find. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. You have no idea how relieved I am that I counted this right. And then we chain 1, and we're going to carry on round. As you've probably guessed, you're going to do 9 up this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and this one's always a bit tricky here in the top there because the stitch is sometimes squished. 9. Chain 1, and we're going to do the 4th side of the square. 1 single crochet in each stitch. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And then we chain 1, and we're going to slip stitch into there, into that first one. So you're going to have 9 stitches each side, so 36 in total, and then a chain at each corner. And then you're going to break your yarn. And then while I get my next colour, I wanted to ask you, when you work motifs, if you have something like this that has a middle section that's the same, like, would you work all of those? Because this blanket has like 81 motifs. Would you work 81 of these and then add your colours? Or would you, because what I do is make each one as I go. I find that really intriguing when you see lots of pretty pictures on Instagram and Facebook of people having made all of their middles. Let me know. So we have the next colour, and we are going to join it to any stitch after the chain 1 space in the corner. So find yourself a corner, it doesn't matter which one it is, and you're going to add your new colour into that stitch. And for this first, we're now going to work in rows. Oh, thank you, Deborah, thank you. She's saying it's beautiful. We're going to work in rows, so we're going to work along this side, we're going to turn the corner, and then we're going to work along this side. And then when we change colour, we're going to turn our work, and we're going to work along here and back to here. And you see the idea, we go back and back and back and back. Oh, Cindy says you probably do all of the small squares first. I think you're probably good. And I bet, Cindy, I bet you sew in all your ends or weave in all your ends as you go, don't you? I really, really don't. I'm really lazy. So we have now joined to there, and we are going to work a single crochet in each of the stitches along to the chain 1 space. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And now we've got to that chain 1 space in the corner. We're going to work 1 single crochet, we're going to work a chain 1, and then a single crochet all in that chain 1 space. So that's going to add a stitch for us. So we've now got 10 stitches along here in total, and 1 stitch here to start with, and now we've got these 9 here to work in. So we're going to work a single crochet in each of those 9. Oh, I'm just pausing because Fran says I make many middles and then do the rest of them together. I, for one, love to put them all together at the end. It's really satisfying, isn't it, Fran, when you finish all your motifs and you can lay them all out and then you just sit. I normally do, how do you draw it? I normally sit, if it's a big blanket, I sit down on the floor like cross-legged or at the table and I just seam the whole thing. Anyway, I digress. There's so much to talk about with motifs and joining. If you have any questions about it, please do ask. So we're 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Have I counted right? Have I counted wrong? Let's check that again. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10 in total. Oh, Fran loves motifs. Good, me too. So that is row 1 of the mitered part of it, the edging, and we're going to break our yarn. But of course, if you want to do it in the same colour, just carry on, turn with the same colour yarn. But what I do here, rather than completing this last stitch with that colour, I'm going to complete it with the new colour. So on the last yarn over, I change colour there, because then when you turn, you are already with this new colour. So we're going to chain 1, and then for this row we're going to work in the front loop only. So I'm not sure if you've encountered that before, but we have 2 loops on the single crochet. We have the front loop that's facing us here, and we have the back loop here. So we're just going to scoop into this front loop there like that. And you're going to similarly work front loop only there. My yarn's getting in charge of me. Here we go. There we are. And the front loop only there for stitch number 3. And that's 4. And that's 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. And 10. And then we've got to that chain 1 space, and now we're going to work a single crochet, a chain 1, and a single crochet. And then we've turned the corner with that little bit there, and now we're going to carry on working in these front loops here. We're going to work 1, 2. I just have to stop. Teresa has just said, I've never seen anyone hold a crochet hook like that before. Neither have I. I've no idea how I ended up holding it like this. How do you hold yours? Are you a knife hold, a pen hold? I'm a little bit of both, really. And also I find it depends what size of yarn, what weight of yarn I'm working with and how big my hook is. So that now should be 10. And we're not going to, I'm going to check before I carry on, otherwise I might get in a pickle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. Yes. So now we are going to, oh, I've gone in a different colour sequence, never mind. We're going to get our final colour. Kate's a pencil holder too. Oh, Priscilla, hey, Priscilla holds hers that way. Yay, Priscilla. I'm not the only one. I think it's because I got taught by my mum, who I hope is watching today. Hello, Mum, if you're watching. And she's predominantly a knitter. And so I throw my yarn as if I'm knitting, I think. Fran's a lefty. Everyone thinks it looks funny. I don't think it looks funny, Fran. I also learnt lots of things from a lefty crocheter, which is kind of straight. You have to watch it in the mirror, don't you, to get it right if you're the other way round. So I've joined my new colour and I've turned over. Sorry, I'm talking more about the chat than I am the crochet. And now for this row, in this last colour, we're going to work in the back loop only, which, as you can probably guess, front loop now facing, back loop behind. And when we say front loop and back loop, or certainly for in my patterns, it's always as to what is facing you for the direction you are working. Ah, yes, Priscilla says she's mainly a knitter as well. So yeah, it does make sense, doesn't it? 1, single crochets again, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I got distracted because Kerry said she holds it the same as me. Yay! There's more of us than I think then. 11. And now we've come to the chain 1 space, and we're going to single crochet, chain 1, single crochet, and then we're going to single crochet in the back loop only of each of the stitches to the ends. Now, of course, if you're not comfortable with front loops and back loops and you really just want to keep it really simple and not have the texture in it, just work into the stitches. It will be lovely, just as lovely. It will just be slightly smaller because there won't be that give, because it's got a bit of a stretch when you work into the front loops and back loops alternatively. But if you do it consistently throughout your whole blanket and all of your motifs, then it really doesn't matter, does it? And the final stitch. And we are this time going to break our yarn and finish that stitch, because then I really, really don't want you to panic, because it looks terrible. It looks like this line is never going to, excuse me, it looks like it's never going to block out, but it does. It all blocks out and they all sit really nicely. And look, you can see how nice and straight it becomes. Donna has asked if you can get a paper copy of the pattern. It's a digital download, but you can absolutely print it out if you would like to. So, the final thing that we're going to do, when I find my yarn again, I went with this first colour, but you could border them however you like, I suppose, couldn't you? Now, the one thing that I did do when I was making my big blanket was I weaved in I did this much of each motif, and then I weaved in all of my ends, because I just found it easier to then work this final border, because we're going to go around the whole thing with this colour, this first colour again. So that's one thing that I did do. I was a good girl for that. So we are going to join to this stitch, any stitch after a chain 1 space, but bearing in mind now you've only got this chain space here and that chain space there. So join to the stitch after the chain 1 space, and then we are going to chain 1, and you're going to work a single crochet. It really is that simple in each stitch. Oh, Donna is asking, how much does it cost and download from where? Annie's has the details of all of that. It's on their site, so hopefully they'll be able to answer you. So single crochets up until we get to the ends of, my hands are wandering, sorry, these rows. So now we've had 9 stitches here, because that's how many we had in that grey section there, and now we've got another 3 here. So we are going to work a single crochet in the side of each of these rows. So this is why it's a lot easier once you've weaved in your ends, because you're not fighting with them all. So 1 and then 2, but it is quite useful that they are different colours, because then you can see where they need to go. Oh, thank you, Sandra said she enjoys my lessons. And then 3 for the last one into that green. And now we are going to chain 1, and then we are going to just work a single crochet The chain 1 is just to give you some room in that corner to churn. And then we're going to work a single crochet in each stitch along. So the other thing, oh, Livia says she holds her hook the same way as well. Oh, maybe it's just over here then that people don't hold it like that. A single crochet in each along. I was going to ask, what is your favourite way to join motifs? Do you sew them or do you crochet them together? That is my question. And now we're going to chain 1. Now we've got to the end, and now you're going to ignore this chain 1. We're not going to do a stitch or anything in that chain 1 there. Fran has asked, what would happen if you do a half double crochet in the last 3 stitches to raise the end? You absolutely could. Yep, you could, Fran. That would work really nicely. It does block fine, but you could definitely do that. Kate uses a crochet or slip stitch, definitely. We're going to single crochet in each of these. I always crochet my motifs together, and I do it lots of different ways. Here I have done a flat seam. You can do a flat facing seam, you can do a zigzag, you can do a single crochet to the front, which gives it a little bit of a raised I don't know how to, a raised kind of edging across the front, and I really like that. You can do so many different, you can do like a lattice across it. It can really, really change your blanket, but I kept it really simple for this one. Livia said she usually waved. Do you mean you usually weave through the stitches? Is it wrong? It's not wrong at all. No, it's definitely not wrong. Some people use the blanket stitch, and I do really like that. It works really well, and it keeps it nice and flat as well, because you don't want a bobbly seam, do you? Fran likes the zigzag. Yeah, I like the zigzag as well, definitely. So we have single crocheted all the way to the end here, and now we're going to chain 1, because now you're going to be working in the sides of these 3 as well. Oh, Fran, do you mean a half double crochet there? Yeah, you absolutely could. The only thing with that is you would have different loops for your joining, but as long as you know that that's what you're doing, yeah, that would work really nicely. And then that's number 3 here, fighting with my ends. And then we are going to work in the 9 here, but this is sometimes hard to work out where I am, so I'm going to count here: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. There we are. But this is definitely a project I really like. Working projects like this, motifs where you can really just do it watching the TV, you can zone out a bit to it. It's quite mindful. I know I've been doing lots of counting, but I don't normally sit and chat while I do, so I just wanted to make sure I got my count right for you. But you can definitely do these almost without looking. It's a bit like granny squares, isn't it, really? So at the end there, I've single crocheted to the end, chained 1, and then you're just going to slip stitch in the first to join again. And that is all there is to it. But as you see, the motifs that I've used, as I said earlier, the motifs for the actual blankets are repeats 3 rows of each colour, and that just makes them bigger. But the great thing is that you can, as I said before, you can use as many rows as you like of those repeats, because it will all even itself out and it will stay in a square. So you can experiment and you can do it however you like. Someone just asked me there, what yarn am I using? So I've got 3 different yarns on the go here. I have got, the original blanket was made in cotton Aran, so Shapies cotton Aran. I have no idea if I say that right, but Shapies, I think. It's called Calista. And then this chunkier yarn is Paintbox Simply Chunky, which is an 100% acrylic. And then this smaller double knit yarn here is Deramores Studio DK. So yeah, lots of lots of really nice yarn to work with, and all three of those yarns come in so many colours. Like, I feel like they've got, I don't know, 100 colours or so each. So there's loads to choose from, and you could do a temperature blanket like this, couldn't you? That would be really nice. Please, someone do that. So yeah. So does anyone have any more questions about making the motif or joining anything or colour choices or how to lay them out? Because that's what I like to do. I wanted to say that as well. I make, I'm a bit of a colour geek and I do like spreadsheets, and I make just like, you can either do it in Excel or, you know, your pages or numbers, whatever it is, and just play around with your colours. Give yourself the blocks that are these colours and then move them around and see what they do. Rotate your squares and place them however you would like them. And it's really funny because I said to my husband earlier that I was going to talk to you about different colours and changing things and this, that and the rest. And he's like, but Hannah, you've designed a pattern. Why are you going to tell people to change it? But I know some designers do get quite... people do get quite frustrated at people changing their patterns, but I don't at all. I think it's amazing that people use their creativity, and my pattern is just a guide. If you want to change it and make your own, then that is amazing. So Wendy loves the idea of using cotton yarn. Yeah, no problem. Thank you for the tip. No problem at all. I've often used cotton yarn because I think people think, oh, it's just going to be so heavy and it's not going to be very user friendly. But I think the opposite. I think it's very user friendly, and ours goes in the garden. It goes all over the place. I'm just going to go back and look at some because I've missed some comments and stuff. Kate asked, will I do a border around of it all? So I didn't do much of a border around this because it sits really nicely. I think, if I remember rightly, it's just a single crochet border around the edge, because it's already a big chunky blanket and I wanted it to stay quite simple. But again, you can do what you like. You can add some more texture around the sides. You could add some front loop and back loop again, like you've done here. Yeah, anything you would like to do. But sometimes I think simple works really well for borders on things like this. So, oh, thank you, Harriet. Harriet has said it's enjoyable watching and listening and learning something new. Yeah. One of my missions with my crochet and my design is to teach people new things. I'm on a mission at the moment to think about different constructions for garments and things. So if that's something you'd like to know about, then do come and find me, because I'm experimenting with all sorts of different constructions. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you like the pattern. Do go and find it on the Annie's site if you'd like to, and hopefully I will see you again soon. Bye.